Born on April 20, 1889 in Braunau am Inn, Austria, Adolf Hitler was a man of humble beginnings. In the heart of Europe, nestled between the Austrian Alps and the Inn River, Hitler's early life was marked by a series of disappointments and failures. His father, Alois Hitler, was a stern and volatile man, a custom officer by profession, who desired his son to follow in his footsteps. Adolf, however, had different plans. He aspired to be an artist, a dream that was not shared by his father, leading to a strained relationship between the two. Following the death of his father, Hitler moved to Vienna, where he hoped to pursue his artistic ambitions. However, his dreams were met with rejection, as he failed twice to secure a spot at the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. This period of struggle in Vienna was a defining time for Hitler, a time that saw him living in homeless shelters and selling postcards to earn a meager living. However, his time in Vienna was not just marked by hardship. It was during these years that Hitler was exposed to the world of politics and ideologies. He became increasingly interested in German nationalism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Marxism, ideas that would later form the bedrock of his political career. In 1914, at the outbreak of World War I, Hitler, driven by his fervent nationalism, voluntarily enlisted in the German army. His experiences as a soldier and the bitter loss of Germany in the war further fueled his resentment towards the establishment and his desire for a powerful, unified Germany. Hitler's early life, marked by struggle and frustration, set the stage for his later political ambitions. The years of hardship and disappointment, coupled with his experiences in the war and his growing interest in politics, laid the groundwork for the rise of one of the most destructive figures of the 20th century. After the First World War, Hitler found his calling in the political turmoil that gripped post-war Germany. Emerging from the ashes of defeat, he found himself drawn to the fiery rhetoric of the German Workers' Party. A small, far-right political group, it was here, amidst the disgruntled and disillusioned, that Hitler began to find his voice. The German Workers' Party was soon transformed into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or as it would become infamously known, the Nazi Party. Hitler's influence within the party grew rapidly. It wasn't just his impassioned speeches or his clear, concise messaging that resonated with the people. It was his promise of a new Germany, a powerful Germany, a Germany reborn from the ashes of the Treaty of Versailles. Hitler was not just a member of the Nazi Party, he was its beating heart, its driving force. His charisma was magnetic, his words hypnotic. He spoke not to the minds of the masses, but to their hearts, their fears, and their hopes. He tapped into a vein of nationalism that ran deep within the German psyche, promising to restore the country's former glory. His speeches were more than just words, they were performances, theatrical displays of fervor and emotion. He used his skills as an orator to whip crowds into a frenzy, to make them believe in his vision of a new Germany. And they did believe. They followed him, they cheered for him, they rallied behind him. Hitler's fervent nationalism and charisma propelled him to the forefront of the Nazi Party. But Hitler's rise was not just about charisma and fiery speeches, it was also about timing. Post-war Germany was a breeding ground for extremism, a country ripe for the rise of a leader like Hitler. The seeds of discontent had been sown, and Hitler knew exactly how to cultivate them. He recognized the power of the people's discontent, and he used it to his advantage. As we delve deeper into Hitler's rise to power, one thing becomes clear: his rise was not an accident. It was the result of a perfect storm of circumstances, a storm that Hitler was all too ready to harness. Hitler's fervent nationalism and charisma propelled him to the forefront of the Nazi Party. In 1933, a pivotal year in Hitler's rise to power, he became the Chancellor of Germany. This was no ordinary ascent, it was a calculated political maneuver, a dance with power that saw Hitler take the helm of the German government. But how did this happen? The political landscape was tumultuous. The Weimar Republic was on shaky ground, plagued by economic instability and increasing political polarization. Hitler, with his National Socialist German Workers' Party, saw an opportunity. Through a series of strategic alliances and political promises, he managed to secure his appointment as Chancellor. But this was just the beginning. Shortly after, the Reichstag, Germany's parliament building, caught fire. Hitler seized this moment, blaming the communists for the fire. He used this as a pretext to suspend civil liberties, dismantle democratic institutions, and consolidate his power. With the Reichstag fire, Hitler was able to seize total control and begin his reign. Once in power, Hitler moved quickly to solidify his rule and implement his extremist ideologies. His reign was characterized by a swift and ruthless consolidation of power, which he achieved through a combination of legislative maneuvers, propaganda, and fear. One of the first steps he took was the implementation of discriminatory laws that targeted specific groups, particularly Jews. The infamous Nuremberg laws stripped Jews of their rights, marking the beginning of a systematic campaign of persecution that would ultimately culminate in the Holocaust. But laws alone were not enough. Hitler understood the power of propaganda and used it to cultivate an image of a strong, unified Germany under his leadership. The Nazi propaganda machine worked tirelessly, churning out a constant stream of messages promoting Hitler's vision of racial purity and national greatness. This propaganda not only served to rally support for Hitler, but also to demonize those he perceived as threats, further entrenching his control. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of Hitler's consolidation of power, however, was the establishment of the Gestapo, the secret state police. This brutal force served as Hitler's personal tool of repression, rooting out and silencing any opposition. Fear of the Gestapo was pervasive, and it played a crucial role in maintaining Hitler's grip on power. Hitler's methods were cunning and ruthless. He exploited the existing fears and prejudices of the time, manipulated the media, and used the state machinery to crush any opposition. He created an atmosphere of fear and suspicion, where dissent was not only dangerous, but could be lethal. Through these strategies, Hitler was able to cement his position at the helm of the German Reich. His totalitarian regime was now firmly in place, its foundations built on fear, manipulation, and control. Hitler had now firmly established his totalitarian regime, setting the stage for the atrocities to come. Hitler's unquenchable thirst for power and territorial expansion led to the outbreak of the Second World War. A man driven by a fervent nationalism and the belief in German superiority, Hitler's aggressive foreign policies were marked by a total disregard for international law and peace treaties. His audacious ambitions first manifested themselves in the annexation of Austria and Czechoslovakia. But Hitler's insatiable hunger for control wasn't satiated. He set his sights on Poland, plunging Europe into the throes of war. This marked the beginning of the Second World War, a conflict that would devastate the world, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. But behind the scenes of the battlefield, an even darker plan was unfolding. Hitler's deep-seated hatred for Jews, fueled by a twisted ideology of racial purity, led to the implementation of what he termed the final solution. This horrifying plan was nothing less than the systematic extermination of the Jewish people. Concentration camps and gas chambers became the grim symbols of this genocide, resulting in the death of 6 million Jews. This period of history, known as the Holocaust, stands as one of the darkest chapters of human history. It is a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity, a reminder of the horrors that can unfold when hatred and bigotry are left unchecked. While Hitler's reign of terror was characterized by a series of military conquests, his legacy is marred by the unspeakable horrors of the Holocaust, a genocide that continues to echo through history, a haunting reminder of the atrocities that can be committed in the name of racial purity and extremist ideologies. Hitler's reign of terror culminated in the Holocaust, an atrocity